Thursday the 17th of August 2023. We head out and have a look at that tin mine, or the bit that crushes the ore up in any case. Head on up to the Blue Tier where it's spectacularly cold and refreshing. Back down the big hills to the Bay of Fires for a short sweet look. Today we're driving down from St Helens, going backwards a little bit actually, to a place called Anchor Stamp, which is about tin mining. The interesting Tasmanian gravel roads, windy, narrow. Hope we don't meet just too many big trucks on this one. It's beautiful country. A little bit more to show how the track's getting a little bit narrower, a bit windier. Just hope we know where we're going. It's a tough reverse out. Nice scenery though. Look out, we're coming into a bit of a clearing. It is no more than a farm track. Look at that wattle. It's really starting to get a bit of a crack on. Of course, we've got houses sprinkled in here. Be a lovely place to live for a hermit like me. Hopefully we don't meet a B-double. Hopefully we don't meet anything, actually. Look at this big wattle tree. Look at the wattle. Wow, isn't that something? Probably the sun's in the wrong spot to pick that up, but it's really kicking off everywhere. About to embark on the Anchor Stampers Walk. Lots of moss-covered rocks and green scenery, and here we are on the little track on the way down to the Anchor Stamper. They've even provided rest areas for the old and the infirmed. A little avenue of fernery as we go down and down and down. I know somebody that won't like the up and the up. But anyway, once you do this bit, you'll be wanting to get back to the car, I should assume. It's supposed to be a 30-minute round trip, so that's a couple of Ks, I suppose. K in, K out. K equals kilometre for... It all goes up and down and bashes shit up anyway. Looks quite rooted. Why wouldn't it have been a fun place to work back in the day? Hasn't been used for quite some time. There'll be lots of these little relics around. That's how this big crushing thing works. So it basically just grinds the ore back to very fine and it's shaken through a screen. Similar operations happen today. It's just a little bit more refined, a little bit more modern and a little bit more automatic. Down here somewhere is supposed to be the remnants of these tables. Bit of busted ass old gear. Down there amongst the fernery and amongst the babble of a lovely little brook. If you look hard you can see stuff that's been there for a long time. Just a tree embedded in the earth, rotting, part of the mining setup. Bit of water running down there, I assume, as in most mining operations. Once that, and assuming is a bad thing, but I assume, like most mining operations, once that stuff got crushed down into fine things, it was washed and separated into good stuff and bad stuff, or more like the stuff that was worth money and the stuff that wasn't. Decided to turn around because this road looks like it ends. These very tall, straight eucalypts, you'll never get the idea on a video through the windscreen, but up here somewhere is a really big one. We're just not real sure where it is, and we forgot to bring the brochure, so we probably won't find it. This has been an interesting little road. Nothing wrong with it, but it just apparently comes to an end, and usually before things come to an end they get narrower and narrower. It was hard enough to turn around as it was. We've turned around and we possibly won't die in the middle of Tasmania today because nobody knows where we are. I do love these little narrow bridges in Tasmania. This one's pretty rough too, and high. It would be 25, 30 metres, maybe more to the bottom. I'm not sure how many B-doubles use this road, but hopefully not too many. That winding old gravel road has brought us to a place called Blue Tier, but it is freezing up here. Don't know what altitude. Oh, maybe 700 metres, I think the car said. So all these mountain bike trails lead into Derby or right down to Swimcart Beach. Really is pretty up here. So it looks like you can mountain bike from Derby to here, for example, and catch the mountain bike shuttle bus back to wherever you're parked or wherever you're staying. Probably the same at Swimcart Beach. There's a number of walking tracks from 400 metres. It is really cold up here. Really rugged scenery. Hang on, let me just wind that out to 35 mils. Probably won't make much difference. I might on a bigger screen. So we've come from a lot of wattle and then some really huge tall eucalypts to up here. I'm not sure what sort of trees we've got here, but certainly it's been a changing landscape on a, what do you call that stuff? Tree front, flora and fauna. A lot of animal shit on the ground. They are really quite tame, poor buggers. So that is the road to who knows where. I think it's advised that you run down that with a 4-wheel drive. While I have a 4-wheel drive, I also have paint on the sides of it. We'll give that one a miss and head back the other way. Fascinating, you come all this way and park beside another Queensland car, another Queensland Ford Ranger actually, and judging by the doohickey hanging over his tailgate, he's brought some bikes, or he or she or they have brought some bikes up and out and about doing their 2-wheel things. Clouds, phenomenal. So when we left St Helens, it was pretty warm. In fact, I considered not wearing a coat. And up here, I've got my standard old flannel on, and I'm a bit cold. It is freezing, but beautiful. How would you describe it? That mountain, alpine-y sort of air. Beautiful. It's kind of hard to get enough of this. It is exceptionally spectacular country. I wouldn't call it wild driving, but then again, I'm only soft-core in this game. The hardcore 4-wheel driver would scoff at this. It's probably as hard as I want to get. The scenery spectacular. Hard to believe how cold it got, how quickly it got, and hard to describe. Oh, the freshness just felt clear and basically good for you. Down off the big hill, and we've just met our first car, thankfully, on a bit of a wider road. The view just continues to be stunning. Flowering wattle, green rolling hills, full dams. Hard to describe really. I'm not sure how many folks come this way. I think a lot of folks are probably just interested in doing the big stuff. I don't know. Well, we don't really sweat the big stuff. Other little stuff's probably as good as the big stuff. Not sure where this is going to take us, but eventually we'll get back to St Helens. Might slide up and have another look around the Bay of Fires as we'll be moving on tomorrow. You don't get any better views than that anywhere in the world. Not that I've been anywhere in the world, but that would be my opinion. So we've come from 800 metres up. We're down now close to 200. A little bit rough. A few washouts. Looks like there's a little village sort of a thing coming up here. So it's been a pretty big day for a couple of old fogies. We've come back out of the hills, which would be behind us. We're now at a place called the Gardens on the Bay of Fires. Pretty rural here. Looks like there's an Angus stud up there, maybe a dairy too. Looking out over the orange lichen covered rocks. It'll be a bit windy, but the view's worth it, and I'm not smart enough to get rid of the wind. So that's how it'll be. Swim Cart Beach, where some of those mountain bike trails ends, or one of those mountain bike trails ends. Probably one of the prime camping locations. Don't know if you can see just up there. They're all lined up right along the beach with beach access. Road's pretty shit house, could do some work. How's that beach? Doesn't get much better than that as beaches go. Some folks look like they've moved in here forever. This one got a little bit long to add the St Helens murals and the Hinky restaurant. We'll throw that in hopefully a shorter production that covers off the rest of St Helens. This is basically our travel diary, so I just need to make sure I've got enough detail in what I record. Doesn't matter who watches it.